Okay, good evening, commissioners. This is Kelly Thompson. I'm going to be taking roll this evening for Bill. So we'll start with Commissioner Stebbins
Hi, I'm here.
and Commissioner Hardy.
Present.
Commissioner McCaskill.
Present.
Commissioner Jordan. Commissioner Jordan.
She's here, but she's on mute.
Unmute. All right, getting the hang of it. I'm here.
Thank you. Commissioner Key
Here.
and Commissioner Rick.
Present.
Commissioner Telega.
Present.
Commissioner Coney
Present.
and Commissioner Blower.
Here.
Thank you. And so now I'm going to read the statement regarding remote meetings under the Open Meetings Act. All boards and commissions must adhere to all laws established under the Michigan compiled laws and in accordance with the revisions of the Open Meetings Act adopted in Senate Bill 1108 as passed on October 13th, 2020 and signed into law on October 16th, 2020. A public announcement shall be made by each member who is attending the meeting remotely that he or she is attending the meeting remotely, and except for those in military service, stating his or her physical location. So now I'm going to go back through the roll, and if you could please state the city and state where you're calling from and that you're attending remotely, that would be great. So we'll start again with Commissioner Stebbins.
I'm present and I am located in Flint, Michigan, and attending the meeting remotely.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Hardy.
Commissioner Hardy, I'm president. I'm from Flint, Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, I should say, and attending the meeting remotely.
Thank you. Commissioner McCaskill.
Commissioner McCaskill, Los Angeles, California.
Thank you. Commissioner Jordan.
I'm here in Flint, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Key
Commissioner Key, I'm attending remotely here in Flint, Michigan.
Thank you. And Commissioner Rick.
I'm attending remotely in Flint, Michigan.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair.
Attending remotely in Flint, Michigan, but I wish I was with Ari.
And Commissioner Coney.
I am on remotely and in Flint, Michigan.
Thank you. And last but not least, Commissioner Blower.
Commissioner Blower attending remotely from Flint, Michigan.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next thing we're going to move along is adoption of our agenda. We have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve it as submitted.
I move that we adopt the agenda as submitted.
Commissioner Blower, support.
All right. No other discussion on it, guys and ladies? All right. We don't need to do a roll call on this, do we?
No, voice vote is fine, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We're going to open up the public forum now. The opportunity, if there's anybody in the public can speak now about anything. There will be another opportunity to speak when the cases are presented if you want to talk about a particular case. Do we have anybody here from the public that would like to speak? Is everybody on the phone? Are you aware of staff?
No.
Daisy?
There are none.
Okay. All right, let's move down to reports. Any staff reports?
None from me.
Corey?
Commissioner Telega, did I miss approval of the minutes from October, or we just
You
went
did.
too fast? Okay.
Sorry.
Has everyone met Jeff, our new lead planner?
No.
Okay. I guess Jeff can introduce himself. That can be our staff report.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Jeff Schiffman. I'm the new lead planner starting my 3rd week at the city. Hopefully, when all this passes, we'll get to meet in person. But Suzanne had a council meeting tonight, so she was unable to attend, so I'm stepping in and attending.
Could you give us a picture, Jeff?
Picture, unfortunately, I haven't shaved and I'm wearing a hooded sweatshirt. So I wasn't prepared for a meeting today. So
You really put him on the spot there.
I was not expecting to be on a meeting this evening, so I didn't.
It's all good. We just like to put a face with the voice. You could have put your high school senior picture up. We'd have been okay.
So could I get the name again? And again, Jeff who?
Schiffman, SCHIFF as in Frank, MAN.
And you be supporting us from now on, Jeff?
Can you give me
Going
the spelling one more
forward?
time?
It's SCHIFF MAN. And
So
I'll be
you-
in the background helping the zoning staff.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a council meeting going on at the same time right now.
Yep.
So, okay, we'll move down to communications. Staff, you got anything?
I don't.
No. Corey? No. Jeff? No. Casey? No.
No.
Okay. All right, we're going to open up the public hearing. ZBA 20-2244, Flint Housing Commission requests a non-use. Make sure I got this right. It's a non-use variance, right? Because my two things are disputed.
Right. It's a
Yeah, right.
non-use.
They're arguing, yeah, on the applicant non-use variance at 5701 Edgar Holt Drive to permit 6 existing units to be enlarged to allow for the property to create barrier-free accessible units. Applicant, I hope you're on the line with us, please.
Yes, sir, I am. This is Jason Boer, the Director of Development with Flint Housing Commission.
Hi, Jason. Can you kind of give us an overview of this project?
Sure. So this is our Aldrich Place Apartments on Edgar Holt Drive. It's a 93 unit apartment townhome community built in 1984. There are 16 buildings on the property, including one building is a community room and management office. The property consists of 93 apartment units. There are 63 two-bedroom units, 20 three-bedroom units, and 10 four-bedroom units. So the property is public housing, and we are seeking to do what's called a RAD conversion, which converts the property funding source to a Section 8 contract. As part of that transition, we are looking to do significant renovations to the property. The property currently does not have any ADA accessible apartment units. So we are required by our funding sources to have 5% of the units ADA accessible, and then 2% hearing and visual accessibility. So in order to achieve the 5% barrier-free accessibility, we are seeking to put additions on 6 of the apartment units, 6 being 5 of the 2 bedrooms and 1 of the 4 bedrooms. The issue that we kind of ran into was all of the 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, the bedrooms are on the 2nd level. So in order to make accessible units, the most reasonable and cost-effective way was to do a 1-story addition on the ends of the buildings where the 2-bedroom units are. So 5 of the 2-bedroom units will become 3-bedroom units, and those apartment units will have a accessible bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen area on the main level, as well as there'll be barrier-free accessible parking spaces and accessible routes to get to the apartments. The 4-bedroom unit does have a bedroom on the first floor, but it does not have the proper turn radiuses and space to achieve ADA accessibility. So we're doing a smaller addition on a 4-bedroom unit for the bedroom, bathroom, kitchen area to be barrier-free accessible. One other thing, all the 6 of these apartments will also have a laundry area created on the first floor because currently they are in the basements. So the main levels for 6 apartments will be barrier-free accessible, and that is the purpose for tonight's request, is to be able to put the additions onto the property.
Before we open it up to questioning from the board, I'm going to open up the public hearing one more time just to make sure we don't have anybody that wants to speak for or against this. And then we'll go ahead. So I'm going to open up the public hearing. Do we have anybody here that wants to speak for or against this project?
There is no one.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Let's move along. Jason?
Yes.
And I dealt with this committed to memory. How many total units are there again?
93.
And you're doing 5 units, right?
We are doing 6 total.
Which
Yes.
represents roughly 6-7% of your total. That's to
Yes.
meet federal requirements, right?
The requirement is to have 5%.
Okay.
I generally apply the 5% to bedroom sizes. So there are 10 4-bedrooms. We want to make sure that one of those 10 is accessible. And then we'll have 5 3-bedroom units that are accessible. So 5 of the 2 bedrooms will become 3 bedrooms.
Okay. Staff, this property is zoned A2?
Correct. It's a legal nonconformity.
Okay. Jerry, didn't you have a question on that about when we were talking earlier about A2, why it wasn't changed when it was constructed? We got Jerry muted there. Commissioner Key.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, Jeff, first of all, let me get one thing out of the way. You mentioned to meet the ADA. Is that the American Disability Act?
Yes, it's actually UFIS that has the reference to the 5%.
Okay.
Uniform Federal Accessibility Standard.
I just like to know what acronyms are before they're used in conversation, that's all.
Understand. Thank you.
And as far as when I looked at your blueprint here, and I was wondering why do we had to issue a request of variance to do a modification to the property? And it seems like, are we in violation of any of the codes? 50-144 and 50-147 is what's referenced in the documentation. So what part of those codes are we being asked to give a variance for?
I can answer this if that's okay, Mr. Chair.
Please do.
So it's a non-conformity, and the zoning ordinance specifies that non-conformities cannot be enlarged in a way that will increase the non-conformity. So that's what they are seeking a variance from, because this will increase the non-conformity of the property by expanding the number of bedrooms.
Okay, that's you, Corey?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question for Jason. Why are you not requesting a rezoning based on a use hardship for the property? And that's from the staff findings and opposition. Standard 2.
I was really working with the staff at the city and at the zoning request was what was guided, how I was guided to submit the request to the zoning board.
So it was based on staff recommendation, you're saying, Jason?
Yes, it is.
Is it possible to ask Commissioner Blauer a question about this?
Of course it is.
Why was the applicant denied? Do you remember the reasoning?
This did not come before Planning
Mhm.
Commission. This
Oh, it
is
didn't? Okay.
no, this is a variance just
Okay.
for its use. Yes, this never came before. This came directly to ZBA.
Thank you.
To clarify, I think it did go to planning commission. It was just a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was that Corey that said that?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you know when? I don't know of it going to zoning, so or planning commissions.
No, I don't. I just know that based off the size of the property, it must have had to go to planning commission. It must have been a long time ago.
Okay.
Corey, and by long time ago, you believe that would have been when it was constructed in the 80s?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Okay, in the 80s, it must have came before Planning Commission for a site plan, but not for this variance or anything to do with the non-use variance of tonight.
I have one more question. I'm looking at standard 4. I'm wondering to the staff, what ways can existing units be altered to comply with this provision without increasing the number of dwelling units?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question for me?
Sure, I'm looking at standard 4, and I'm looking at your findings in opposition. What ways can existing units be altered to comply? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think our point here was that they could comply with the ADA requirements of having non-barrier access to bedrooms without increasing the number of bedrooms. They could just move one to the first floor, but instead they're opting to add. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else here? No other discussion? No other questions for the applicant or staff?
I guess.
Well, I entertain a motion at this point. There's a motion pre-prepared for or against on the last page of the staff report.
This is Commissioner McCaskill. A motion to approve. I make a motion to approve of the request variance by the Flint Housing Commission to expand a non-conforming multiple family housing development in the A2 single family medium density residential district based on the following findings of the fact. It complies with the standard 1 based on the need for the development to comply with section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act 2010 standard for accessible design. It complies with standard 2 based on the fact that there do not appear to be similar surrounding land use that have to be retrofit that have to retrofit their building to comply with the federal provision. It complies with standard 3 based on the properties being screened and the proposed change not being a substantial different change to the character of the property and surrounding area. It complies with standard 4 based on the housing development being built before the required for 5% of the units being barrier-free was adopted. It complies with standard 5 based on the housing development protecting public health, safety, and welfare by providing barrier-free housing for residents. Further, in order to ensure compliance with the standard, the following conditions are a part of my motion to approve.
You can strike the last part because there aren't any conditions, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And I apologize for the wording. I'm not a poet.
Nope. Do we have support here?
Commissioner Blauer, support.
All right, we've got a motion of support. We have any discussion? Staff, let's take a roll call vote if we don't have any discussion.
Commissioner Stebbins,
I approve.
Commissioner Hardy,
I approve.
Commissioner McCaskill,
Approved.
Commissioner Jordan,
Approve.
Commissioner Key,
Approve.
Commissioner Ricks,
Approve.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Coney,
Approve.
and Commissioner Blauer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you all. Been a pleasure working with everybody. Thank you to the city for their assistance.
We
Be
wish you
safe.
the best
Happy
on your
Thanksgiving.
project.
Thank you.
Likewise.
All right, we're going to move on to the city attorney report. We've heard a lot from the city attorney tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a couple of brief updates on ordinances. The proposed zoning code is, I spoke to Suzanne before tonight's meeting, and we are aiming to get that on council's agenda for their second meeting in December. One of the hurdles that we have to get through before that happens is the formatting of the ordinance, and it's a few hundred pages long, but I think I might be taking on that responsibility as a way to familiarize myself with the code. So Suzanne and her staff and I are working to get that before council next month. And then for the proposed permanent marijuana ordinance, we're also hoping to bring that before city council next month. And that has already gone through the first reading and the public hearing. So we're hoping to get on the agenda for a second reading next month and hopefully for a vote. So those are my updates.
Is that safe to say that they're not even going to entertain zoning until they get through marijuana, correct?
Well, there appears to be some momentum and some desire from city council members to consider it. So that may help push it forward a little bit faster. I think that some of the council members have had questions from their constituents and other matters come up that cause them to want the zoning code to come before them sooner. So that's encouraging. But other than that, I really can't say one way or the other what will happen in actuality.
I know that we have had members of this board have had discussions and lobbied their council people on behalf of it also. Feel free to reach out to your council person and encourage them. It's gotten frustrating at times for us. We've had applicants come in front of us that, right now our master plan and our zoning conflict, and they're coming for things that are allowed under the master plan and would be allowed under the new zoning. But unfortunately, they're dealing with 73 is our current ordinances, which are archaic, and they're having to come before us. And I'm concerned that sometime that somebody's going to get turned down for something that they probably really shouldn't have came in front of us for, because it's been 2 or 3 years that the zoning ordinance has been drafted now. Corey, you probably know, you're around.
Long time.
I believe March 2017 it was approved.
There you go. 2017. So, well, I mean, I guess if they get it done in 3 years compared to the last one was done in the Nixon administration, we'll be doing well. All right. With that, we're going to move down to old business and membership roster. And Commissioner Hardy, I think you wanted the roster updated and then distributed. Was that it? Am I remembering that correctly?
Correct. That's correct.
And
Yes,
neither,
that
well, it
is
hasn't been
correct.
distributed and we don't have it.
And Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson. Without Suzanne and Bill being here, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know that they are working hard on this, and I believe that they were meeting with the city clerk's office to get a finalized updated roster. So I know that they're working on that.
Okay. Yeah, we also wanted last I knew, somebody brought to my attention, and I haven't checked recently, I apologize. The city website reflects a very old roster last I knew. Like 2 or 3 years ago roster. So you might want to note that to staff to check with that too, make sure that's updated.
Yeah.
Thank
KZ,
you.
maybe you and I can get together on that.
The roster on the planning page.
Yeah, on the ZBA
Yes.
page.
I updated that a while ago.
Oh, great then.
Yeah.
Somebody brought to my attention, it's probably been a month or two at least.
Oh, okay.
And it just came to mind we were doing that. Okay, do we have anything else under old business board? John, does that cover what you wanted?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes,
just
please.
real quick while we're discussing the rosters, if Commissioner Stebbins, if at some point you change your legal name and you want us to update the roster to reflect that, just send an email to myself or Bill or KZ and we'll make that change.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move down to new business. Jerry, did you have something on new business here?
Yes, I had a question or concern when I was reading through this current documentation for the variance asked for from the Flint Housing Unit. And I was reading through the standards. I noticed that there was no response or check mark in the boxes. It says, does site meet requirements? Yes, no, or non-applicable. And I was accustomed in the past of seeing either a yes or no checked off in that box. But for none of the 5 standards were those boxes checked this time. So I didn't know whether there was a change being made or no answer given or what. So Corey, I guess that'll go to you.
Yep.
As to why I don't have checks in one of those boxes.
Yes,
I
it's
also have the same question. I saw that, noticed it too.
it's my fault. This is I did the staff report this time, and the reason I didn't fill out that part is because in other communities they don't fill out that part, and the reason for that is it doesn't look great to have staff leading the board. So instead, we opt to just give you all the facts, give you evidence and support and opposition, and then you can fill out that section depending on how you feel after reading the evidence. That was my thinking behind not filling out that part. Does that make sense?
It sure does. It was also helpful. You had a motion pre-written out for or against at the end. We haven't had that. And I appreciated that.
Yeah, no problem. If there's anything else I can do to improve the staff reports, let me know.
Just, it was a little bit of a change we weren't expecting. It was a little format difference, and that was all, threw us off for a second. John and I were, or I mean, Jerry and I were on the phone earlier.
Yeah, Corey, you know I read every word, okay?
I appreciate that.
I'm good though, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? You know, we're missing one member. We don't have anybody in the 4th row ward. That's Kate, right? We should probably reach out to Kate. She's anybody to point.
Commissioner Telegat, I actually, during this meeting, has sent her a message reminding her of that vacancy. I believe she's aware of it.
And did you get a response?
I believe she is in a meeting.
Well, not right now.
Right. I sent it.
Commissioner
I sent it
Blower?
while we were. I sent it while we were waiting to
Oh,
to open.
I thought it was a while back you'd sent it or something.
We have talked about it in the past, but this
Okay.
evening I actually sent her a
Maybe
message.
I'll reach out to her then too. I realize she's
All
in a
right.
meeting now.
Yeah.
But it's great. And I want to commend everybody. Before we were on this board, they had a problem getting quorum and then having enough people quorum to pass projects or turn them down. And we kind of struggled for a little bit with people attending, but with this group, we have great attendance and I commend you, and it makes everything a lot easier, and it makes us a lot easier to serve the city and serve our applicants. And that's what's most important. We're here for our civic duty. And I just want to let everybody know how much I appreciate everybody's prepared on time and at the meetings. And I can tell you, there were times when I first came on this board, I would see somebody open up their envelope when they sat down for the meeting. It was the first time they'd looked at it. So, all right, we have any other new business? Anything at all?
None for me.
Okay, anybody board, staff? All right, I'm gonna call for a motion to adjourn.
With the completion of everything, this is Commissioner Key. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Commissioner Ricks, I second.
All those in favor, aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Everybody have a long extended weekend, happy weekend and safe.
Thank you, you too.
Hey,
All
really
right.
quick,
Be
staff, do you
well.
know if we have anything on deck for next month before everybody goes?
Yes, we have three
Yes.
variances.
What's the date on that?
December 15th, I believe. Yeah.
That's a third Tuesday. All right,
Yeah.
everybody,
Casey
put that
can
down on your
correct me if I'm
calendar,
wrong.
December 15th, 3 cases.